is in the points. That is Alain Prost.
The leaders look pretty static at the moment. Nobody appears to be in a hurry to make any sort of a move, and a bit of a stalemate, except that Prost is the closest he's ever been to Berger, and Prost is certainly in a position to attack. But Berger does not give his places away. If you want to get past Berger, you really have to earn it.
Yeah, and Alain Prost is certainly earning the right to tackle Berger. He's half a second quicker now, and Nigel Mansell goes through in 5th position ahead of Caffey. Nigel Mansell now has got 17 seconds between himself and Prost.
Well, let's hope we get at least a replay, and yes, we do. Mansell outpowered him on the second longest straight on the circuit, nipped across in front of him. In fact, by the time they got to the start-finish line here, Mansell had got a very big lead indeed. He was already a second ahead, over a second ahead. And there's Terry Boutsen, who's been for tyres.
As a result of which he has dropped down to 11th place.
So it's somewhere the half distance, and fastest lap goes to Nigel Mansell, who is absolutely flying now. He's lapping 2 seconds, over 2 seconds faster than the leaders. The gap has gone in that last lap from 15.7 seconds down to 13.5. So 2.2 seconds he's pulled on the leading group. And at that rate, he's not going to take a huge amount of time to catch them. And he's got a nice clear road on which to do it.
Michele Alboreto, who started 26th for the second race in succession in only his second race for the Lola Lamborghini team, exits the Hungarian Grand Prix. He's got a cracked rib, and I'm sure he's in so much pain that he's just had to come out of the race.
But it's 7.6 seconds to Alain Prost for Nigel Mansell. Now, I think that Prost is in a bit of tyre trouble, but not so much that he can't keep up with that leading group, and I would fancy the right tactics for him would be to try and be the first one of that group into the pits. There's somebody going in, and it's Berger. So Berger goes for the pits, and I think Prost will go next lap. I'm sure that would be the right thing to do, to try and get a good change, get onto the fresh rubber before the others.
Yeah, I've got the stopwatch running, don't worry. We'll see how long it takes. An 8-second stop is a very good one. And there it is. I think it was rather less than that, 7.4 seconds, but I won't argue over 3/5 of a second. Gerhard Berger with an extremely quick stop, whichever way you slice it, into the pits, onto new tyres and out again, leaving Riccardo Patrese still in the lead. But now Alain Prost up into 3rd position.
And I think that was well done by Berger coming in when he did, and I'm sure that Prost should be thinking about making his tyre stop very soon, because that is, if you can get a good stop, he's stuck at the back of a group at the moment, and probably the easiest way to pass them is if you happen to be lucky with your pit crew and they do a really good job, and you can actually be in and out of the pits quicker.
There, going through is car 27, the famous number, the famous driver, Britain's Nigel Mansell in the Ferrari, 4 seconds only behind Alain Prost. The gap has come down from 16 to 4, and Mansell is marginally quicker than all the three in front.
Yes, and likewise, as I was saying, for Prost, I don't understand really why Senna hasn't made a dive for the pits yet. And there is Derek Warwick making his tyre stop in the Arrows. And we got one wheel stuck. Oh, they're having a look around the right rear of the car, but not at the wheel. They want to jack it up again, so they found a problem on the car, and I don't think it's a tyre problem. So, what a shame for Derek Warwick. He's been an unforeseen delay in the pits. Oh dear.
Oh dear, Satoru Nakajima has done it all wrong and has gone off the circuit into the gravel and is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix with a slightly adrift right rear wheel.
And he had a bump with Warwick, I think there. Was it Warwick who was coming into the pits, which is why Warwick's car needed checking over. And Nakajima, remember, was on cold tyres having gone out.
Williams, McLaren. Now, Nigel Mansell should be next, and he's past Derek Warwick. and is now less than 3 seconds behind Alain Prost, lapping in 1:25.7 compared with 1:26.1 for all the 3 cars in front of him. As into the pits comes Alex Caffey from 9th position. A lot of people have got past him. He's on Pirelli tyres. All the rest, or most of the rest in front of him, are on Goodyear. That was a slowish stop. And as Alex Caffey exits the pits and onto the circuit, Mansell now is within sight. There are the first 4. Patrese, Senna, Prost and Mansell.
And Prost the closest he's been for the whole race to Ayrton Senna. In fact, the leading 3 have concertinaed up. And we're getting very, very close to half distance in the race. And I'm amazed that... and that is one of the Brabhams, I think. Martin Brundle stopped, and we see why now, trying to get inside Palmer's Tyrrell, and got himself into a point of no return. There was nothing he could do, having got himself into that situation, and the spin off, and it looks like he stalled the engine, and that push start, if that's what it takes, will probably disqualify him, certainly, from scoring any points. Now, I must say it's a bit of a surprise to me that none of these leading 4 have yet been into the pits for tyres, and it may well be, remember, that tyre decisions, the final decisions, are taken during the race. Now, before the race, the leading teams were saying that they thought they'd have to make a tyre stop, but of course they can look at the wear of other people's tyres. Goodyear makes the information available to them, and so of course to Pirelli, that of how the wear has been and how the tyres look that have come off other cars, and that helps them, and decisions can change during the race. And I would have thought that if they were going to make stops, they should have done it by now.
And the first 4 are catching to lap Martin Brundle there. Now, Martin is an experienced driver. He is the world champion sports prototype driver of 1988. In his Brabham Judd, he will see this battle for the lead bearing down on him, and he will see Mansell going through and taking 3rd position from Alain Prost. Nigel Mansell in the V12 Ferrari goes up into 3rd place. Now, can he do the same thing to Ayrton Senna?
And you saw how Mansell did that. He was much quicker through the downhill, that corner there that they're just exiting. He gained all his momentum, and the momentum that he had carried him past Alain Prost. Tremendous piece of driving by Mansell, because he judged the run at Prost just perfectly. He had to get the run through the previous corner and then make his play on the straight, and he did it to absolute perfection. Tremendous stuff by Mansell.
In fact, this race could hinge on tail-enders that are being lapped, because so close is Senna to Patrese now that if Patrese hesitates in lapping a tail-ender, Senna, who is very courageous at this sort of thing, as Alain Prost is repeatedly pointing out, could dive through and take the lead. But Riccardo Patrese, with the prospect of his 3rd Grand Prix win in front of him, is certainly not going to give up lightly. Jonathan Palmer going into the pits, and Senna goes for it. He goes through. Ayrton Senna takes the lead on the 52nd lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Patrese was just slightly off his mark there. And now Mansell is going to do the same thing. No, he's not. He has to hang back. Crosses his way through. Patrese has lost 2 places in almost the time he takes to say it.
I think Patrese's got some sort of a problem. Can't see what it was, but the way he went slowly into the downhill left-hander then ran wide, made me think that he may have a puncture or something like that. And here we see again, Senna had been threatening Patrese for a couple of laps there, past the start-finish line. And so, Mansell. Now, Mansell won't have such a disadvantage in a straight line now that Patrese This hole in the air that was helping Senna has gone, and look at Mansell climbing all over the back of Ayrton Senna, and believe you me, Alain Prost will be cheering like mad from his cockpit for Mansell, and he'd rather finish third with Senna second than second with Senna first. Look at Mansell climbing, but he's not going to help him now, as Senna will power away with the Honda engine.
There is the new race leader Ayrton Senna with the V12 Ferrari behind him, completing another lap, completing the 54th lap in this 77-lap race. Nigel Mansell still got plenty of time to come to grips with Senna. Senna has still got plenty of time to pull away from Nigel Mansell. The crowd rises again. Prost is third, Berger is fourth. They are both past Ricard there. And there is Derek Warwick.
Yeah, and Patrese went past us with smoke coming out of the back of his car, and obviously a serious mechanical problem, and I would think that's it. Yes, Riccardo Patrese pulls off the circuit, and you can see a little whiff of smoke coming out of the back there, and it's all over him. But a fine, steady drive from Patrese. He's had a pretty good weekend. He'll be disappointed not to have finished and got plenty of points, but really, he must be happy with his pole position and leading the race for so long.
But up into fifth position now comes Eddie Cheever. In fact, the race order, as you look at Senna and Mansell in first and second, is Prost in